Hi folks, welcome to the Man Cave. So those of you that are eagle-eyed will see behind me, attached to my garage door, is a Michelin road map. Well, why is it there? Well, basically in a couple of days time, my riding buddy and myself, we're going to get the bikes, go down to the harbour where we live in Jersey, and then get a ferry from Jersey down towards the French coast to a place called St Malo. And then we've got 5 nights, 6 days away, doing a nice little loop, about 1,500 miles. And that will take us down towards Gap, southern part of France, and then we'll head north up towards Lake Geneva, and hopefully getting some really great riding on some lovely alpine mountain roads and passes. And then from there we'll go all the way up to Paris, through Le Mans, Rennes, and then back towards St Malo, and then getting the ferry back to Jersey. So what's the purpose of this video? Well, we need to know where we're going. So basically, how do I get all that route information and pop it onto my Garmin Zumo XT GPS? Well, I've had that Zumo for about two or 3 years now, so click on the link in the description below for all the other videos that I've done on it. So how do I get that information on the Garmin Zumo? Well, basically via my iPhone. So on my iPhone I've got the Scenic app. That's so easy to use. I certainly recommend it. Again, there's a link in the description down below. There's other similar motorcycle navigation apps, but as long as that motorcycle navigation app will allow you to export a GPX file, you are good to go. And this is a very simple method to give you a rock solid route from your phone to your Zumo XT. So without further ado, let's crack on, and I will show you how to get the route on your iPhone and ping it through to your Garmin Zumo as a GPX file. So let's go. So before we start, I would recommend that you make sure your software is up to date on the XT, and also just for ease of reference, I've deleted any previous tracks and trips that may have been on the unit. So I'm going to grab my iPhone, so I'm using the iPhone whatever it is, and what I'm going to do is go into my motorcycle navigation, which is the Scenic app. So let's go into that then from my home screen. I love this little Scenic app, it's brilliant, it's so easy to use. So here we go then, this is the Scenic app, and then I've got a file in there, so I've called it the Boys August trip, and as you can see I've got days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that's all our trip there. So what I'm going to do is just export day 1 St Malo to Bourget from the phone to the Garmin Drive, and the Garmin Drive will ping it across to the Zumo XT as a track. So let's do that now then. So let's select day 1. Yeah, that all looks pretty good. As always, just make sure what you've got on your map is actually where you want to go. So check and double check. There's nothing wrong on that. I'm going to scroll down and it says export GPX. So, and then I'm going to say, I want to send it to the Garmin Drive. So let's send that to the Garmin Drive. And then the next time it all talks to each other via Bluetooth, it will then send it from the phone via the Garmin Drive onto the Zumo. So let's hit send. We received a GPX file. Great. Would you like to send it to your Garmin device? Yes, I would, please. So there we go. You can see the scroll bar, and it's now sending all that information for day 1 from St Malo to Bourget, if I've pronounced it correctly, and it's sending it woof all the way to the Zumo XT. So blah blah. So here it goes. Yeah, it's quite a long day, that one, I think. How many miles is that? I don't know. 300 miles? I don't know. No idea. 200 miles, who knows. So there we go, it's nearly finished. So it is sending it all the way to the Zumo, and once that's done, I'll then show you how you get that GPX file from the Zumo to then give you turn-by-turn navigation without any issues whatsoever. So it's now sent, so we can put the iPhone down, and then as we can see on here, it says this route contains more than the maximum of 29 stops. Well, yeah, so be it. So split it into 2 or more trips, or convert the stops to shaping points. Now that's the point we need to do to keep the route intact. So we want to keep the route intact, so we are going to convert it. So let's press the convert button, and then it will go through all the rigmarole, and it will convert all that GPX file into one track, which is what it's doing now. So there we go, that's finished that, and it says new tracks were received and were added to track. So let's press the OK on that. And it says some other stuff as well. So we want to go from the home screen into track. So this is most important. Let's go to track, and then click on the top left corner there. That's the tracks. And as you can see, we've got day 1 St Malo / Bourget. So we'll click on that, and we'll just make sure that that route is actually where we want to go. And it is, that's in a blue line. So let me just go to the spanner, and I'm just going to set the color for you just to make it easier to see. So I'm going to set that to red actually. So set the color to red. And you can set each of the tracks to different colors. So there we go, I set the track to red, and just going to scroll down now, show it on the map. So I would strongly recommend that you show on the map all of these tracks. So I'm going to highlight show or tick show on map. So I'm going to highlight that, and then the next you need to do is convert it to a trip, which is the next section down. So convert to a trip, and we want to go from start to finish. And I'm going to call this day 1 St Malo Bourget track. I'm just going to give it an asterisk to highlight it from anything else. So let's give it a little asterisk, and then done. And now it's converting that track to a trip, and it will just calculate that, and then it will send it to the trip planner. So there we go, day 1 St Malo Bourget track asterisk is saved to trip planner. So I'm going to press OK, and then I'm just going to get rid of, press done, and then just go back to the home screen. And on the home screen now we can go to apps, we can go to trip planner, saved trips, and there we see day 1 St Malo Bourget track. And underneath that you're going to see some other things which I hadn't loaded. So the GPX file has also been lobbed in various data bits. I don't know how it does it, but it's also, rather than 1 trip, it's now got 3 trips in there. So that's why I've put the asterisk next to it, so you don't get confused. So what you can do is, I'm going to delete the day 1 St Malo Bourget via as a path. So delete trips, let's do the via as a path, let's get rid of that. Yep. So what we're going to do now is just look at day 1 St Malo Bourget track asterisk, and what we'll see on that one, and it'll say editing this trip will discard the current route settings and calculate standard route. That's fine, that's what we want. And there we go, you'll see you have a beginning and an end. That's it. Very, very simple, with no other intermediate points. Let's have a look on the map, and we're going to zoom in. And you always want to make sure before you blast off from your start point that the route looks sensible, and it does. That looks fine. So I am more than happy with that. Yep, happy with that. And that takes me to my destination. Now the other thing is, if you look at the next one there, St Malo Bourget vias and stops, there will be loads of points under there, which gets confusing. So these are the routing or shaping points. Not sure which ones they are. So yeah, they're all there as well. But I would just stick with the track. So that's what I'd go for. So when you want to navigate, then very simple. You go to your apps, you go to your trip planner, save trips, day 1 St Malo Bourget, that's the tracks. Editing this trip will discard the current route setting, blah, 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 yeah, okay. And then just press go, and then that's it. And then you'll see select next destination, closest entry point, or the beginning or the end. So I would select beginning, which you should always make it, you know, a couple of 100 yards in front of your start point, and then press OK. And then that's it. That will work every single time. So it's worked for me. It's worked absolutely flawlessly. So I'm more than happy with that to recommend that to you, good folk. The other thing I would suggest in relation to doing it this way, if you go off route, there's a thing called off route calculation. I just switch that off because it may send you to your destination by a different route and not the route that you've worked so tirelessly to come up with a glorious route for you and your buddy. So I would can the off route calculation. So if you do go off route with a diversion, then the easiest thing you can do is just stop the current route. So, you know, just press stop and then go back into the app and then start the new route, and then you can hit closest entry point, and then that will take you from your off route sort of bit with a road detour or whatever, and then that will take you back to the closest part of the route that you want it to go on, and not the route that the Garmin Zumo is going to try and send you down if you're using the off-route calculation. So turn that off, don't use it. So that's it, folks. If you've got any comments to make, please make them in the comment section down below. That certainly worked for me. I think it's the best way to do it, and it's the easiest way to do it. So yeah, hit that subscription button, and if you've got any comments to make, put them in the comment section down below. And I'm going to go and finish packing, going away in 2 days time on the BMW. Looking forward to it. Not sure if my hands are going to be tingling on this one. I've got some bar ends coming down from Evotech, so I'll be interested to see how they're going to do. And then I've also got this new bag from, I don't know what they're called. What's it called? Endostan. So yeah, I'm going to give that a try because my mounting kit hasn't come down for my SW Motec panniers, which I had on the Africa Twin. So yeah, I'm going to go with the top box and the 32 litre roll bag. I'll do a review on that one with the rock straps as well. So yeah, that's it, folks. Ride safe, and France, here we come. Woohoo! Haha.